Here they are, Neil Hopkins and Brea Grant! One of them had much softer hands. Neil, what's your routine? Do you moisturize?
Oh, absolutely.
God,
at least
so good.
3 times a day, before and after any TV appearance. Or even YouTube appearance.
I like the walk-in of like you just casually happen to be coming up to the loft.
Where are
like,
we?
whoa, what's going on?
This is so great.
Where did this mic come from?
This couch is very deep.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, my feet are kind of like I can't touch.
Yeah, you're kind of like in the kitty chair.
I'm a little bit of a like.
Should we give you a stack of pillows to rest them on?
No, thank you. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
Actually,
I'm all right.
Can I just say, you are amazing. And I'm talking to you, Neil. Yes, Brea's great as well. Don't get me wrong, we'll get to that. But this film, to pull off, I mean, I kind of talked about it there. Detour is you are trapped under a mudslide. But I mean, it is just you going through the process, of the most believable process I've ever seen of a man trapped and confronting his own fate and trying to get out of there. I mean, when you read this script, was there the moment of, oh, this is just me. Like this is on my shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Will Dickerson, the writer and director, who's a good friend of mine, he wrote this actually way back in 2008, and he tried to get it made a couple times, and then he came to me, and when I first read, so I knew a little bit about it beforehand, and I'd already read it, but when it was actually presented to me as like playing the lead role, it was pretty intimidating, but at the same time, it was thrilling. Like any actor, you know, it's the role of a lifetime. So.
Sure, but I mean, in most roles, you get to go to the trailer for a couple minutes while they shoot the reversals. You don't even have to be there when they're on the co-stars. Your co-star is a cup holder and a rear view mirror, you know, and like an AC vent. Like, what was the shoot just intense from day one? Because this thing was an indie film, which means you didn't have $1 million for craft services. You probably didn't have a fleet of stand-ins. This was you in a pretty tight environment for how many days on end?
Well, we shot it for 3 weeks, if I recall correctly, and it was very intense. It was all shot in sequence. The stuff in the car. There's also flashbacks and dream sequences and stuff, but the stuff in the car was all in sequence. So it was really real because we only had one car, so we couldn't go back after the car gets destroyed and full of mud and. Not to give too much away, we couldn't go back and like, oh, let's grab one of these other cars and reshoot something we already shot. We had to get it all and then move on. So that made it more real in terms of like a character arc, and it's also something that you really don't get to do very often in a movie. Usually you're shooting everything out of sequence. And for a movie like this, that definitely made it easier for me. But it was also harder because it was just nose to the grindstone the whole shoot, and it just got harder and harder and harder and harder.
But I could see, I mean, thankfully you only had the one car, so you could, I mean, you had the reason that you had to shoot it in sequence because your character deteriorates about as much as the car does through this thing. And yeah, I can imagine how weird that'd be for like, okay, now your face is covered in blood, spit, mud, and urine, and then we're gonna clean you up, and now you're fresh on your drive. Like, let's shoot it out of sequence. That would have made sense.
No, exactly. And that's what made it more organic, I think, and it made it a lot easier, I guess, to be real with it.
And you talked about those sort of flashback sequences, and that's where Brea's character comes in. Brea, you play the love interest in this film, the catalyst that sort of propels him to get through this process?
Yeah, I mean, and it's totally unfair because Neil was in a car like under the mud for like, forever, and I shot for like 3 days, and we were like standing in a garden and then like making Easter eggs and stuff in our house. So it's like it was a very different experience for me.
And your stuff is made to look like it was filmed on a cell phone camera. Were you there with an iPhone filming it yourself, or did they have a guy with a giant jib and Steadicam and then a little phone mounted to it?
No. Actually, the majority of it was shot on the Red, even though it was on the camera. Am I right about that?
No, we shot it all.
Was it on the camera?
I filmed all of that stuff.
No, that's
that was all you handheld?
Yeah. No, sometimes there was a guy with a camera. So we shot this so long ago that I don't remember, but I seem to remember that there was another dude.
No,
so the chemistry between you two must have been palpable if she doesn't remember that you were even there for those scenes. Yeah. That's really
she may be thinking of another movie. I'm not sure. No, but it was a little while ago. But it was me shooting her on a flip cam.
Because those were really believable moments. These are supposed to be moments of you guys. That's fine. We'll fix that in post.
This isn't
Hold on,
live.
3,
right?
2. So Brea, in those handheld scenes, was it just you guys with the cameras, or did they have jibs?
It was a flip cam.
Amazing.
And I did it.
Really spectacular stuff. Thanks, Brea.
Well, you know it was me because it's nice and shaky. And
well, did they at least give you a DP credit or like an extra line?
No, and I didn't deserve one. Rob Craich was actually the DP, and he did a phenomenal job for this. Yeah.
How do you even prepare? Like, did you go to like a coffin shop and just sort of lock yourself in for a minute? Like, how do you prepare for the feeling? Are you claustrophobic?
I think everybody's claustrophobic to a degree. I don't think anybody likes being, except maybe David Blaine.
And I've seen videos on YouTube. That's true. He does it. He gets paid a lot to be in cubes of ice for a week at a time.
Yeah.
That passes as magic now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna balance for a week.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You and my yoga instructor deserve millions of dollars and a special on NBC.
Yeah, so he might be the only one that enjoys it, but I don't think anybody wants to be trapped in any small space, but I wouldn't say that I'm, I guess, overly claustrophobic. It's not something that gives me like instant panic attack, but yeah, I mean, it definitely, it was so real because we were really shooting in this car, and it was really me in this car, and it enabled that feeling, that sort of primal fear of what if this was really real? I mean, it really felt real. So,
and was it the same level of like intensity and anxiety when you were pretending you guys were in a relationship?
Yeah, it was.
It was
slightly less.
Slightly less.
Yeah.
Brea, how was it? I mean, I don't know if I don't want to get into your personal life on the live streaming anything. But what is going through your head when you're in a scene and you're trying to be the perfect girlfriend to a guy, and oh my God, we're in love, and how does that play out?
Why did I agree to this? Why did I agree to come here with Kevin?
I'm just curious, what was going through your mind in those shoots? We were like, wow, this is the best boyfriend experience I've ever had, and why can't they all be this handsome and talented and amazing and perfect smiles and really charismatic? What do you have that I don't?
I'm an amazing fake boyfriend. That's all I can say.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. You are no stranger. I know we're running out of time, but you're no stranger to the independent film scene. You have a movie that is coming out on VOD now, but it's screened, or what is it?
I love when you ask these as questions. Yes, like you don't hear about it every day.
But I pretty much tune it out in the kitchen, but now I have a chance to be engaged.
There's some inside stuff going on
real
here.
information. I'm like, I don't know what you do. What's your...
Yes, I directed a movie. It's called Best Friends Forever, which I'm also in, and it will be on VOD this summer.
Love it.
And showed it at Slam Dance.
And we showed it at Slam Dance, and it's actually going to a few more festivals right now, and everybody can go to bestfriendsforeverfilm.com, and we'll be updating it. But our movie will be out in theaters
March 29th.
as well as VOD, so you can get it at the same time. So if it's not in your town, where you, like if you live in a smaller town, or I don't know what town.
You have no excuse to not feel claustrophobic for an hour.
The major cities, like the biggest cities it's playing in, New York, LA, Toronto, Portland, and then a bunch of other cities. It's playing in 12 cities altogether, opening next Friday, but it's also at the same time coming out on VOD, iTunes, Amazon, and different cable providers, a lot of different cable providers.
You can it's probably in a frozen yogurt shop as well.
Yeah.
You can get it at your local Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Like, if there is a screen, get this movie on it. I've seen it. It's gripping. And Neil, again, you are phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
It's really, really amazing performance. They can also find you on Funny or Die Now. I want to mention that quickly. You have a comedy series up there.
I have a web series that I do with my buddy John Forrest, and it's called Neil and John, and it's really out there and really funny, and you can see it on Funny or Die or YouTube.
Love it. Neil Hopkins and Brea Grant, thank you both so much for coming here. You're amazing. I wish you looked at my flip cams the way you looked at his. That's it for What's Trending. Again, thanks to Neil and Brea for being here. The movie Detour, it opens in theaters March 29th, and I can attest it is both terrifying and messy in the greatest way possible. I have been Kevin Pereira. I'm at kevinpereira.com. You can find me on Twitter at kpereira. Also, please check out Player vs. Pain starting March 28th on Machinima Prime. It's not in any theaters or on Redbox. I'm just not special. But now here's one more thing.